Prisons are meant to be places of punishment and reform, but some are nightmares come to life. Today, we'll explore the world's scariest, most dangerous prisons, places where survival itself becomes a challenge. Welcome to Hell on Earth. ADX Florence, the Alcatraz of the Rockies, La Sabaneta, where anarchy reigns, Black Dolphin Prison, Russia's impregnable fortress, Carandiru Penitentiary, a scar on Brazil's soul, Petak Island Prison, exile in a frozen wasteland, Gitarama Central Prison, a living hell in Rwanda, San Pedro Prison, a city within a prison, Diyarbakir Prison, Turkey's Chamber of Horrors, Kamiti Maximum Security Prison, Kenya's harsh reality, Alcatraz, America's island fortress, a glimmer of hope in the darkness. Our journey into the abyss begins in the barren landscape of Colorado, USA, at ADX Florence, a name whispered in hushed tones amongst the most hardened criminals. Known as the Alcatraz of the Rockies, this supermax facility is not for the faint of heart. Here, the most dangerous criminals, terrorists, serial killers, and those deemed too dangerous for even standard maximum security prisons live out their days. Inmates spend 23 hours a day confined to their concrete and steel cells, their only window to the outside world a sliver of sky. Meals are passed through slots in the door, and even exercise takes place in a specially designed concrete cage. The prison stands as a stark reminder of the length society will go to isolate those deemed the most dangerous. We leave the cold, calculated isolation of ADX Florence and journey south to the sweltering heat of Venezuela, where a different kind of chaos reigns. La Sabaneta, a name synonymous with violence and despair, is a stark reminder that some prisons are not designed for rehabilitation, but simply for containment. Overcrowding isn't just a concern, it's a way of life. Disease runs rampant in this overcrowded environment, and medical care is scarce and often inadequate. In 1994, La Sabaneta was the scene of one of the deadliest prison massacres in history. The story of La Sabaneta is a cautionary tale of what happens when a system designed to rehabilitate becomes overwhelmed by corruption and neglect. From the chaos of South America, we travel north to the frozen steppes of Russia, to a prison so secure, so isolated, it is known simply as Black Dolphin. Located near the border with Kazakhstan, this maximum security penitentiary houses Russia's most hardened criminals, murderers, terrorists, and even cannibals. Here, security is not just tight, it is suffocating. Prisoners are kept under constant surveillance, their every move tracked by a network of cameras and watchful guards. Inmates are blindfolded whenever they leave their cells, shuffled along by guards, their arms gripped tightly behind their backs. They are forbidden from ever sitting or resting during transport, a constant reminder of their confinement. Contact with the outside world is almost non-existent. Black Dolphin is a place of absolute control, a living tomb for those deemed beyond redemption. Our journey takes us next to Brazil, to the ruins of a prison that, though closed for over 2 decades, still casts a long shadow over the country. Carandiru Penitentiary, once the largest prison in Latin America, stands as a chilling reminder of the human cost of overcrowding, neglect, and institutional failure. At its peak, Carandiru housed over 8,000 inmates, a seething mass of humanity crammed into a space designed for a fraction of that number. Conditions were horrific, with disease, violence, and despair the only constants. But Carandiru is perhaps best known for the 1992 massacre, a day that would forever etch its name into the annals of prison history. Though Carandiru was demolished in 2002, its legacy lives on, a stark reminder of the human cost of neglecting the basic rights and dignity of those incarcerated. From the urban chaos of Sao Paulo, we journey to the desolate beauty of Lake Novozero in Russia, home to Petak Island Prison, a place where isolation is not just a punishment, it is a way of life. Imagine a prison where the bars are not made of steel, but of ice and snow, where the only sounds are the howling wind and the lapping of waves against the shore. The prison itself is a collection of crumbling buildings battered by the harsh Russian winters. Here, prisoners endure freezing temperatures, inadequate heating, and a sense of isolation so profound it can drive men to madness. Families are allowed only one visit per year, a brief respite in a sea of loneliness. Petak Island Prison is a stark reminder that sometimes the most effective form of punishment is not physical but mental, a slow and agonizing erosion of hope. Our journey into the heart of human darkness takes us next to Rwanda, a country still haunted by the ghosts of its past. Here, in the town of Gitarama, we find a prison so overcrowded, so rife with disease and despair, it defies description. Gitarama Central Prison is a place where the basic necessities of life, food, water, sanitation, are in desperately short supply. Inmates are packed together like animals, their bodies pressed together in a desperate struggle for survival. Violence is a constant threat as prisoners, driven to desperation by hunger, disease and despair, turn on each other in a desperate struggle for survival. Gitarama Central Prison is a tragic testament to the human cost of poverty, conflict, and the failure to address the root causes of crime. From the overcrowded horrors of Gitarama, we travel to Bolivia, to a prison unlike any other we have encountered thus far. San Pedro Prison, located in the heart of La Paz, is a place where the lines between incarceration and freedom are blurred, where prisoners have created their own society, complete with its own rules, economy, and social hierarchy. Here, inmates buy their own cells, ranging from cramped and squalid to surprisingly spacious and even luxurious. Families live inside with their incarcerated relatives, children play in the corridors, and makeshift businesses thrive. Beneath the surface, San Pedro is a dangerous place ruled by gangs, drug lords, and a brutal code of silence. San Pedro Prison is a fascinating and disturbing example of what happens when the state cedes control of its prisons, a microcosm of society where the strong prey on the weak. Our journey takes us next to Turkey, to Diyarbakir Prison, a place synonymous with torture, political repression, and human rights abuses. Located in the southeastern part of the country, Diyarbakir has housed political prisoners, dissidents, and those deemed enemies of the state. Built in the 1980s, Diyarbakir quickly gained a reputation for its brutality. Stories of torture, beatings, and psychological abuse emerged from its walls, painting a chilling picture of life inside. Though conditions have reportedly improved in recent years, Diyarbakir Prison remains a symbol of repression and a reminder of the dark side of Turkey's recent past. The prison stands as a stark reminder that even in the 21st century, human rights violations continue. We journey now to Kenya, to Kamiti Maximum Security Prison, a place where the line between punishment and cruelty is blurred beyond recognition. Located on the outskirts of Nairobi, Kamiti is infamous for its horrific conditions, rampant violence, and disregard for human dignity. Overcrowding is a chronic problem, with inmates crammed into cells designed for a fraction of their number. Sanitation is almost non-existent, and disease spreads rapidly through the cramped and filthy conditions. Guards are notorious for their brutality, meting out punishments with a casual disregard for human life. Kamiti Maximum Security Prison is a stark reminder of the challenges facing the Kenyan penal system and a sobering example of the human cost of neglecting the basic rights and dignity of those incarcerated. Our final destination takes us back to the United States, to an island shrouded in mist and legend. Alcatraz, also known as the Rock, may be closed now, but its legacy as one of the most infamous prisons in history lives on. Located in the frigid waters of San Francisco Bay, Alcatraz was the ultimate symbol of American justice. From 1934 to 1963, it housed some of the most notorious criminals in the country, including Al Capone and George Machine Gun Kelly. Life on Alcatraz was harsh and unforgiving, with long hours of silence, monotonous work details, and the constant threat of violence. Although Alcatraz closed its doors over 50 years ago, it continues to fascinate and horrify, a stark reminder of a time when punishment was often synonymous with brutality. These prisons, scattered across the globe, offer a chilling glimpse into the darkest corners of the human experience. Yet even in these desolate landscapes of despair, there are stories of resilience, of the human spirit's ability to endure even the most horrific conditions. For some, prison becomes a catalyst for change, a chance to confront their demons and emerge transformed. While we may never fully understand the depths of human darkness, it is important to remember that even in the most hopeless of places, a flicker of humanity still remains. Thanks for watching. If you found this video interesting, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more content on the most unbelievable places around the world.